Okay. And we're recording, yeah. So hello, my name is Laura, and welcome to Build Your Own Marketing API. We're just going to get started, and there we go. So just to let you know what we're doing today. So in the first bit of this presentation, I'll give you a little preview. Afterwards, there will be record along, and then if you're up for it, if we have time later, then we will have a little chat just to talk about what you're planning on doing and maybe even try Scribble. If you haven't played before, I will explain it as well. So just to quickly introduce myself. So my name is Laura. I'm based in Seoul in Korea, and I would consider myself more of a tech adjacent person in that I do online marketing for work and coding as a hobby. And the purpose and the objectives of these meetups are basically, I want to reverse engineer what I use on the daily, which is campaign management tools and analytics. And I would also like you to be able to be ready to start your own API, maybe even a marketing API if you wish. So yeah, just to quickly review what an API actually is. So I went onto Turing.com, which I'm assuming is named after Alan Turing. And it says that, simply said, an API acts as a virtual middleman, transferring data from one interface, such as a mobile app, to another. And yeah, just to give you some examples of marketing APIs, there are Google Ads. There are things like Meta Ads, Google Analytics. There are Snapchat publisher APIs, Snapchat conversion APIs, that kind of thing. And then there are also just some everyday examples of an API. So for example, PayPal, weather apps, yeah, Twitter bots, reservation apps, that sort of thing. And just to give you an idea of what we're doing today, so we will have our Python and our code editor ready. We will create a virtual environment and activate it. We will install Flask, which is a popular Python-based web framework, and create a Flask instance. We'll create some endpoint handler, and we will also start hosting. And we're going to explore self-hosting versus hosting services. And just to quote my sources as well, in preparation for this project and this meetup, I went on to Codecademy, I went on to Python Anywhere, Python Foundation. I looked at some Flask documentation, and I looked at a hosting service called Heroku as well. Yep, so that is pretty much it. I will now proceed with the hands-on bit of this meetup. And then afterwards, we're going to have a look at the chat and maybe play Scribble. The chat and the Scribble bit will not be recorded, but I will be recording the coding bit. So yeah, let me just quickly get the coding. Wait, let me just get the coding bit ready. Just one sec. So. Wait. Audio. No, we're not doing that. And yeah. Okay. Can you see that, Grace? If I just put it like that, is that okay? Can you see the editor?
I can just see the videos. It's not screen yet.
Oh, you cannot. Okay, just give me a second.
I'm also not that up on video conferencing stuff.
I know there have been some
chat. Oh no, yeah.
Yeah, I know there have been some changes recently in how Bevy is being configured. So normally it pops up. I can normally share the window. Let me just close my editor and just open it again. And let's see if that does it. Because in previous meetups, I have been able to just share my code editor window directly. Oh, excuse me. Let me have a look. Okay, yeah, now it's there. There we go. Okay. Can you see that now, Grace?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Let me just have a look. Is it better if I zoom in a little bit like that, or is it?
It's all right. I can see. Yeah, quite well.
Yeah. Was that better if I zoom out a little bit?
Yeah, both is good, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'm just going to leave it at this bit then, because that just doesn't cut off the screen like that. So yeah. So basically, the first thing that I did was I installed Python. And I put it on my code editor really, so nothing special there. And then I went and I created a virtual environment. And for that, the first thing you can do is just pop this command into your terminal, like here. And let me just put that in the chat as well, just for reference. Okay. I can see somebody's joined us. Let's just have a quick look.
Yeah, it looks like.
Okay, it's Rachel. Hi, Rachel. If you want to say hi, that's fine. Okay, like so. So we've done that, and permission denied. Why not? Okay, let's have a look. Probably because I've already because I've probably already had it. And then the next thing you can do is you just activate your environment, like so. There you go. Okay, and now what it does is, if you have a look here, it tells us that our virtual environment has been activated. Okay, let me just put that in the chat. And Rachel's there as well. Hi, Rachel. Okay, so we've done that. And then what I found is that I was able to install Flask. Let me just pop that in the chat as well, like so. And that is still within the terminal as well. Do you, if you want me to stop, if you need some time to actually run the commands, let me know. Otherwise, I'll just keep going through it like a little walkthrough.
I think it's good. I'm sort of following through a bit, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to do, like, if I've got enough the right Python stuff installed, but it seems to have done something. So
okay. Okay. And so at this point, I found that I had a lot of error messages for some reason. So for example, what I did was I had to upgrade my my pip installer, my Python installer, using this command. Then I also had to, I think I had to restart my computer at one point. I had to restart my code editor, but it did work well in the end. It just, yeah.
I think this worked. It says successfully installed a lot of things, including Flasks 2.3. So hopefully it's all right. I don't know.
And then what I also found that if you kind of have to make sure that your current Python version and the virtual environment match.
Oh.
So it was really weird. So I had to have a look here. So if we have a look in this corner, it tells us, okay, the virtual environment is currently in Python 3.11, which I think is the latest version, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And I went through, I think, Python and then / version, I think, just to make sure that I have the right version. Let me just put that in the chat as well. So if you run Python version like so, and if that version and the virtual environment match, then you should be okay, really.
Got Python, it's 3.10. I'm not too sure if I've got the virtual environment set up.
Yeah. So I'll just give you a moment, maybe.
Oh, it's all right. Keep going, and I'll I can come back if like if I watch the video. Yeah, if I need to.
Okay, sounds good. And then I just imported a couple of dependencies and a couple of frameworks. We're not really doing anything much with these during this meetup. It's just something for the future that I've set up for my personal reference. And just put these into the chat. So we've got Flask, we've got Request, we've got JSONify, and I'm currently thinking about what database to use, how to connect it. It might be something like SQLite, SQL. I'm not 100% sure, because again, I'm more of a layperson looking at it from a sort of end user's point of view, rather than a computer science major. So,
Oh, nothing. Yeah, just agreeing. Yeah.
So the next thing that you can do is you create a Flask instance. And I was also a little bit confused at this point. So I thought that maybe at this point I have to include the name of my app, or maybe the file name or something, but you literally just have to include Flask and then double underscore and name. And yeah, that's the instance really. And then once that has, once you've done that, you can define your routes and your endpoints. And for me, again, not an expert, I just want to make sure that what I've done so far is working. So I am using this little bit here. So this one is my my route, if you will. And it's just for me to understand that, well, is it working or not? So I'm saying, okay, my route is hello, and the method is get. And the next thing I do is have a little function as my handler, and I wanted to return a message once I run it. Let me just put the chat as well, like so. And now the next thing we can do is we can run the development server locally, and locally meaning it's on your machine. It's not online. It's not anywhere on some kind of cloud. And yeah, let's just do that for a moment. So if the name equals main, then we just run the whole thing. And yeah, let's just try and let's just see whether that's all working. Okay, it's a development server. Okay, yep. Okay. So we've done that. And now let's have a look on our local browser and check whether it's actually doing anything. And let me just maybe share with you the browser. Okay, so this is actually really interesting. Let me just share the whole screen with you. So what I found is when I was running it on different browsers, it actually looks really, really different. Grace, I know you're a web dev person, right? Maybe you've seen that as well. When I run it on Firefox, it looks completely different compared to when I run it on Chrome, for example. And I did not know that. So let me just show you the difference, maybe just one sec. So, okay. Hi. No, it doesn't. Oh, it does not let me. Okay, let me see. So for example, let me just share Firefox. So here we've got Firefox, right? And we just run this one. So it says here, hello, that is my path that I've defined previously. And if I have a look here, so it's got JSON, it's got raw data. So the raw data is the little JSON message that I had earlier. And it has all this extra information, right? It's so interesting. But then, okay, it says message hello world. But then if I go into Chrome, for example, just bring that up. If I go into Chrome like this, hopefully, yeah. So it's just really plain, right? It just literally has my message. It doesn't have anything else. And yeah, so apparently different browsers give you different results if you're developing locally. That was my takeaway. Let's just go back to the code editor. Just one moment. And there you go. It's the message for the development server, just to put that in as well. Okay, so we've got all that done. And then now the next thing that I did was I looked at hosting online. And there are some services that have free tiers, which is Well, I mean, the ones with free tiers, they're very, very limited in their functionality, and I did not find them super useful personally, just because I'm not very familiar with hosting yet. But it does appear that services like Heroku are very, very popular in hosting your own projects and your APIs. And I just wanted to walk through that as well. So you can sign up to Heroku. Let me just put the link into the chat. And it also needs an authenticator app. So you can't just have your password and your login email. It needs an authenticator. And I used Google Authenticator personally. There are other ones out there as well. And it asks you, before you can use Heroku, it also asks you to install their proprietary command line interface. I will put that into the chat as well. Not an ad for Heroku, by the way. It's just when I was looking for hosting services, it seems that Heroku is one of the more popular ones that are also used by larger companies. So once you've got that, what you can do is you can log in to your account via your terminal. I found that quite handy. And let's just maybe do that now. So here's the terminal. Just move that out of the way. And so, okay, it can be updated. Yeah. And then it asks you if you press any key, then it'll open up a browser window, or you can press Q to exit. And in my case, I just pressed enter. And what it shall do now is, okay, it's asking me to log in. Okay, so I've already been logged in. If you're not logged in at that point, you might have to log in again, but yeah, that's it basically. So you're in, and you can, if you just want a boilerplate code, what you can do is you can run this command, and that'll basically create a little starter app for you. And again, you put that into your terminal like so. So it says git clone, okay, and then it clones this whole app, and we're just going to have a look at that as well. So, and yeah, so just to have a little look here. So what it does is, okay, it has some information to kind of get you started, some settings. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can use that if you want. For me at the moment, it's a little bit, it's not really fit for purpose at this point, because I just want to build a very, very simple app. But if you want to build an app online, if you want to host it online, it does look like it's a good option, really. And yeah, let me see. And if you have done that, you can then use Heroku Create, which creates your app. And if you want to push it, and then you can also do that. And let me put the commands into the chat as well, like so. And then if you want to make sure whether your app is actually running or not, you can also run this one. So it says, it checks your scale, whether it's been scaled. And the last thing, if you want to open your app in your browser, you can say Heroku open. And that's it, pretty much. So is there anything you want me to go back over, anything you want me to explain in a bit more detail? Otherwise, rather than just myself talking all the time, I would also be happy to stop recording and maybe listening to you for a change. Yep. I mean, if you have any questions, do feel free to text me. That is completely fine. Yep. Okay. In that case, let me just stop recording now, and I would like to hear a little bit more from you, actually. Okay. So stopping recording in 3, 2, 1.